She filed a restraining order claiming I was emotionally abusive for questioning her spending. I didn't contest it, just closed all the cards and canceled the lease I was guaranteeing. Her lawyer called 72 hours later, begging to work something out. I, 31 male, got served with a restraining order on a Thursday afternoon at my office. The receptionist called me down, looking uncomfortable. Process server handed me the papers like he'd done it 1,000 times before. My girlfriend Sienna, 28, of 3 years, had filed an emergency protective order claiming I was emotionally and financially abusive. Her evidence? Text messages where I asked why she spent $1,800 at Nordstrom when she said she was broke, and an email where I suggested we create a budget. I read through it in the lobby, according to Sienna, asking, "Hey, didn't you say you couldn't afford your car payment?" After seeing her with new designer shoes constituted controlling behavior and emotional manipulation. The kicker was her statement. He monitors every purchase I make and interrogates me about money constantly, creating a hostile environment where I fear his reactions. Reality check. She had 4 credit cards in her name that I was paying. Her apartment lease had my name as guarantor because her credit was shot. Her car insurance was on my policy. I'd been covering her temporary expenses for 2 years. But sure, asking one question about spending was abuse. The restraining order required me to stay 100 yards away, no contact, direct or indirect, effective immediately. I didn't argue, didn't call her, didn't text. I walked back to my office, pulled up my banking apps, and got to work. The immediate response within an hour, I'd canceled all 4 credit cards. They were in her name, but I was the one making payments, perfectly legal to stop. Removed her as authorized driver from my insurance policy. Called her apartment complex about removing myself as lease guarantor, 30-day notice required. Stopped the automatic transfers I'd set up for her expenses. Changed my Netflix, Hulu, HBO, and Disney Plus passwords. Removed her phone from my family plan. Effective next billing cycle. The apartment situation was interesting. I wasn't on the lease as a tenant, just the guarantor. The property manager, Adrienne, was surprisingly helpful. So if you're withdrawing as guarantor, she'll need to qualify on her own or find a new guarantor within 30 days. What if she can't? Then she'll need to vacate or face eviction proceedings. Perfect. I documented everything, forwarding confirmations to my personal email. Then I went back to work. Had a presentation at 3 p.m., nailed it. That evening, my phone was quiet. Eerily quiet. The restraining order was working both ways. She couldn't contact me either. Update 1, Saturday morning, 8 a.m. My phone rings. Unknown number. It's a lawyer named Bradley Hutchins. Mr. Torres, I'm representing Miss Sienna Blackwood. I believe there's been a misunderstanding regarding the protective order. What misunderstanding? The order was very clear, no contact. Yes, well, my client has discovered some complications. Several of her financial accounts seem to have been closed. I stopped making voluntary payments on her credit cards. Yes, but she relied on those payments. Then she should have thought about that before filing a restraining order claiming I was abusive for asking about those very payments. Silence. Mr. Torres, surely we can work something out. My client is willing to modify the order to allow for financial discussions. No need. I'm complying fully with the order. No contact means no contact, including no financial support. But the lease, I've given proper notice to withdraw as guarantor. That's not contact with her, that's contact with the property management company. This is retaliatory. This is compliance. She said my financial involvement was abusive. I'm removing myself from the abusive situation. Isn't that what she wanted? He sputtered something about bad faith and financial abuse. Bradley, she filed a legal document claiming I was abusive. I'm respecting her wishes by staying away completely. Have a good weekend. I hung up. 20 minutes later, texts started flooding in from her friends. I didn't read them, just screenshot them. Violating restraining orders goes both ways. They were contacting me on her behalf. Update 2, Monday morning brought chaos. First, an email from Bradley. Lawyers can contact me, apparently, with a formal letter demanding I reinstate financial support during this transition period. My reply was brief. Per the restraining order, I cannot have any contact or relationship with Ms. Blackwood. Financial support would constitute a relationship. Please advise your client I am fully complying with the court order. Then came the social media storm, but not the usual kind. Sienna's best friend Qley posted on Instagram, when toxic men use money to control women after being called out for abuse. Half financial abuse, narcissistic abuse. Except Qley made a crucial mistake. She included screenshots of Sienna's texts to her, including, "He canceled everything. I can't even watch Netflix. I told you the restraining order would make him pay attention, but now he won't even pay my cards. The lawyer says, since he's not legally obligated, he can just stop." This backfired so bad. Someone sent me the screenshots. I forwarded them to my lawyer, hired him Saturday afternoon. But the real entertainment came Tuesday evening. Adrian from the apartment complex called. "Mr. Torres, I'm required to inform you that Ms. Blackwood has not provided alternative qualification or a new guarantor. She has 23 days remaining. Understood. Please confirm my guarantee ends as scheduled." It will, but she came in today. With her mother, there was an incident. Oh. Her mother, Mrs. Blackwood, attempted to forge your signature on a guarantee renewal form. I sat up straight. "Excuse me? We have cameras, and your signature on file. It was obviously forged. We've referred the matter to our legal department and local authorities." Holy crap. Update 3. Sienna's mother, Lois, tried to contact me through my LinkedIn professional networking site not covered by restraining order, apparently. Her message, "Evan, this is ridiculous. You and Sienna had a small disagreement and now you're destroying her life. Be a man and fix this." I didn't respond, just screenshot it. My lawyer, Harrison, different Harrison from my last story for anyone keeping track, was having a field day. She filed a false restraining order. We can prove that from her own texts. Her mother attempted forgery. They're harassing you through third parties. We could countersue. Let's wait. I want to see how this plays out. Wednesday brought more escalation. Sienna's car got repossessed. Not my doing. Turns out she hadn't made a payment in 4 months. She'd been using the money I gave her for the car payment on other things. Without my weekly transfers, she couldn't even make a partial payment to stop the repo. Qley posted about this too. Now he's taking her car. This is abuse. Someone in the comments pointed out, wait, if he's taking her car, doesn't that mean he was paying for it? How is stopping paying for someone else's car abuse? Qley deleted the post. Thursday, Sienna's credit cards started declining. She'd maxed them out in 3 days of panic shopping, thinking I'd cave and pay them off like always. Bradley called again. "Mr. Torres, my client is prepared to drop the restraining order." "I don't consent to that." "What? The restraining order is for her protection, right? I don't want to make her feel unsafe. It should remain in place." "But you can agree to mutual dissolution." "No, I'm good. I've adjusted my life to comply with the order. No reason to change now." "She's going to be evicted." "That's unfortunate, but I can't be involved in her housing situation. That would violate the order." He hung up on me. Update 4. The forgery charge was official. Lois Blackwood was arrested at her yoga class. According to the police report, public record, she'd tried to forge my signature on multiple documents, not just the lease guarantee. She'd also attempted to add herself to my car insurance policy as Sienna's guardian. Sienna is 28, and tried to open a credit card in my name. That last one upgraded the charges from forgery to identity theft. Sienna, of course, claimed she had no knowledge of her mother's actions. But text messages between them, subpoenaed by the police, showed otherwise. "Mom, just sign it. He won't know. His signature is easy. I've seen it 100 times. If you do the insurance thing, I can get my car back." Bradley withdrew as her lawyer. Apparently, being party to identity theft discussions was an ethics violation he couldn't ignore. Her new lawyer, some ambulance chaser named Rick, sent a demand letter for emergency support citing dire circumstances. Harrison responded beautifully. "Our client notes that requesting financial support from someone Ms. Blackwood claims is abusive would put her in danger. We cannot in good conscience facilitate such a dangerous situation." Meanwhile, I was living my best life. Started taking cooking classes with the money I wasn't spending on Sienna. Posted a few photos on Instagram, nothing petty, just me making pasta from scratch. Sienna's friend Daria messaged me, "You're really gonna let her be homeless over a stupid fight?" I replied, I'm respecting her need for protection from my alleged abuse. Would you prefer I violate a restraining order? She blocked me. Update 5. Things got weird. And by weird, I mean hilarious. Sienna started a GoFundMe. Help a DV survivor escape financial abuse. Her story was compelling. Evil ex-boyfriend cut her off financially after she stood up to his abuse. She needed money for a new apartment, car, basic necessities. She raised $73 in 3 days. Then someone, not me, posted her Instagram history in the comments. Designer bags, expensive dinners, trips to wine country, all posted in the past year with captions like "Blessed to have a man who spoils me," and "When he surprises you with YSL." The GoFundMe got taken down for fraud. But the best part was when her dad reached out. Frederick Blackwood, divorced from Lois for 10 years, hadn't talked to me before. "Evan, this is Fred, Sienna's father. I heard about the situation." "Mr. Blackwood, I can't discuss. I'm not calling about that. I'm calling to apologize. I know what my daughter is like. I went through this with her mother. The restraining order, the false accusations, the financial manipulation. It's like watching a rerun." Turns out Lois had pulled the same stunt on Fred during their divorce. False abuse claims, tried to get him arrested, forged his signature on loans. "I just wanted you to know you're doing the right thing. Don't cave. They'll escalate until they realize you won't break, then they'll move on to the next target." He was right about the escalation. Update 6. Eviction day was approaching. Sienna was desperate. She did something I didn't expect. She called my mother. My mom, Rosa, is a saint. Also, she takes no crap from anyone. According to my mom, the conversation went, "Sienna, Mrs. Torres, Evan won't even talk to me because you have a restraining order against him." That was a misunderstanding. "Mom, you filed legal documents saying my son was abusive." "I didn't mean it." "Then you committed perjury?" No, he was being controlling. "By paying all your bills?" "Sienna, he questioned my spending." "Of his money?" Sienna hung up. My mom called me afterward, laughing. "That girl is something else. You dodged a bullet, Mijo." But Sienna wasn't done. Day 24, she showed up at my office. Security stopped her at the door. I'd informed them about the restraining order. She made a scene, started crying about how I was destroying her life and she just wanted to talk. Security called the police. She got arrested for violating the restraining order. The same restraining order she'd filed against me, that she was now violating. You can't make this stuff up. Sienna spent a night in jail. Lois bailed her out and immediately called a press conference. I'm not kidding. A press conference. Outside the courthouse. 3 reporters showed up, probably expecting a slow Newsday story. Lois gave a speech about financial abuse in modern relationships and how men weaponize money to control women. One reporter asked, "Ma'am, aren't you currently under indictment for identity theft and forgery? That's not relevant to you allegedly forged this man's signature to steal money. How is that different from financial abuse?" "I was protecting my daughter by committing fraud." The press conference ended quickly. The footage never aired, but someone posted it on Twitter. It went moderately viral in legal circles as "how not to handle PR during criminal proceedings." Meanwhile, Adrienne called with an update. Miss Blackwood has been formally evicted as of this morning. She has 48 hours to vacate. Did she find alternative housing? She applied for several places. All rejected her after running credit and background checks. The recent arrest didn't help. I felt a tiny twinge of sympathy. Then I remembered the restraining order accusation, and it passed. Final update. The conclusion was almost anticlimactic. Sienna moved back with Lois, who was out on bail. Their apartment was a 1-bedroom in a sketchy part of town, quite a downgrade from Sienna's luxury apartment I'd been guaranteeing. The restraining order was still in effect. Sienna tried to have it dismissed, but the judge noted her violation of it and decided it should remain for both parties' protection. Rick, her new lawyer, made one last attempt. "Mr. Torres, Ms. Blackwood is prepared to sign a document stating the abuse allegations were exaggerated if you provide 6 months of financial assistance for rehabilitation." Rehabilitation from what? Financial adjustment disorder. You just made that up. She's suffering from consequences. This is cruel. This is accountability. He gave up after that. I ran into Qley at Whole Foods. She tried to duck into the cereal aisle, but we made eye contact. "How's Sienna?" I asked, genuinely curious. Qley looked uncomfortable. "She's working, retail, living with her mom." "Good for her. She really did care about you, you know. She just got scared when you started asking about money. Scared enough to file false abuse allegations? That was Lois's idea. She said it would make you realize how serious Sienna was about needing space. Space for my questions, but not for my wallet." Qley winced. "Yeah, it sounds bad when you put it like that. How else would you put it?" She didn't have an answer. Later I learned through the grapevine. Lois pled guilty to forgery, got probation and community service. Sienna's credit score dropped to 420. She was working at a department store, living with Lois. She'd started dating a new guy who she was already asking to help with expenses. The restraining order was still active, expires in 9 more months. Frederick reached out one more time. "Heard you held your ground. Good man. She's already working on the next guy. Gary something. Poor bastard has no idea what's coming." As for me, I took the money I'd been spending on Sienna, roughly $3,500 a month, and increased my 401k contributions, started a legitimate investment portfolio, took that cooking class series, bought a really nice espresso machine, still had money left over. The restraining order remains my favorite ironic souvenir. She filed it to manipulate me into submission. Instead, it gave me the perfect excuse to cut her off completely. No guilt, no arguments, no gradual process, just instant, court-ordered disconnection. Her own weapon became my freedom. To anyone in a similar situation, when someone shows you who they are, especially through legal documents, believe them. Don't try to save them from consequences. Don't feel guilty about protecting yourself. And if someone ever threatens you with a restraining order to control you, call their bluff. Comply fully, completely, absolutely. They wanted distance? Give them the entire universe. Sometimes the best response to manipulation isn't resistance. It's enthusiastic compliance that reveals their true intentions. Sienna wanted me gone, but my money to stay. The restraining order made that legally impossible. She played herself with paperwork. Cool? Cool. P.S. To the 3 people who messaged me saying I was actually abusive for cutting her off. She literally filed legal documents saying my financial involvement was abuse. I agreed and removed it. If that's abuse, then I'm confused about what she actually wanted. P.P.S. Yes, this is all legal. No, stopping voluntary payments isn't violating any law. No, refusing to be someone's ATM isn't abuse. Die mad about it.